on the road in LA against the other Harbaugh, one Harbaugh against the other. The Ravens were able to do it.
I'm,
Wow. Let me pull up
I'm
some stats really quickly.
facts, Danity, 100%.
We're going to get all into that because that is so true. That is so true. And leading up to this game, I saw a lot of, just shade being thrown in Malik Harrison's direction, like, oh, he's being left to guard the middle of the field. Great.
I mean, listen, in all fairness, during spot duty, he has not played the greatest, but he took well advantage of the opportunity that he's been given. And I do think that he was the best defensive player. He may have been the best player on the field today, to be quite honest with you.
He was. He certainly was. A couple of things that stood out to me. Lamar Jackson, he has 16 completions out of 22 attempts, throws for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 1 time.
What's up, DD?
Justin Herbert, meanwhile, 21 completions out of 36 attempts for 218 yards, 0 touchdowns. That's the key. 0 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 4 times, for a loss of 16 yards. This is what I think really helped this team. Offense, we did just enough, but the defense really started to come alive. Now, the defense, are they an A+ team? No. Are they a B? You're pushing it. You're asking for too much. But they certainly were able to limit this team and hold this team to 23 points. And at one point, at the end of the fourth quarter, they had held them to 16 points. They did give up that touchdown late in the game. I think Don Royal said it earlier. Our secondary is not the greatest. He said trash, but I'm going to say it's not the greatest. But knowing that this offense is as good as it is in both the pass and the run, and our defense was able to limit them to 23 yards, says a lot. That also does take into account the fact that they did lose J.K. Dobbins at some point midway through the game, and he did not return. But
100%.
What do you think, Hendo?
I think once again, we played well defensively from what we are accustomed to from the beginning of the year. The offense found their groove late enough, which they should have been doing from the beginning. I think, like it says, the defense, the penalties, and just not coming prepared in the games is going to hurt us for the playoffs. Yes, it'll work against a Greg Roman-led offense, a defense that's missing some starters. They were missing Cam Hart. Khalil Mack was hurt. Joey Bosa's hurt. Like, they have some pieces out, and we did well. You can only play who they put in front of you. But when we start going back up against the Buffalo Bills, when we go back up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, if we see Kansas City again, when we see Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown next week, things may be a little bit different. I just feel like at this point in the season, yes, I'm very thankful for the win. Glad that it happened because we could have easily lost this game. But I think there's certain things going into week 12, during week 12, going into week 13, should already be buttoned up. Like, certain things should not be happening. Pat McCarry should not still be adding to his league-leading holding penalties. Like, the discipline in this team is perplexing to me. And I just think these things have to be cleaned up. And people have been saying to me all season long, Hendo, it's only week 1. Hendo, it's only week 5. Hendo, it's only week 7. We're going to week 13, and we're still talking about the same issues. Now, I give them credit. Defensively, they played a lot better. Like, they held them down. But for some people in certain situations and instances, they're not seeing the totality of the game. Like on that third down play where Justin Herbert went for the home run ball, Joshua Palmer was sitting underneath waiting for the first down. Luckily, and the same thing happened with Joe Burrow a couple of weeks ago. So we're getting lucky. When we go up against Patrick Mahomes, when we go up against Josh Allen, these things in the playoffs aren't going to happen. Yes, they're going to miss passes, but in crucial situations, they make plays. So it's some things we got to button up. We got to figure out what we're going to do with Brandon Stevens. We got to figure out what's up with Tre'Davious White. Now, he had a good week last week. He struggled a little bit this week. We got to figure out what we're going to do with this cornerback room outside of Marlon Humphrey. So kudos to them for winning, because I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, but they got things together. We just need to stop these slow starts and go in and just listen. All gas, no brakes. As soon as we step on the field, show them that we are Baltimore. Show them that we're the Ravens. Show them that we have the 2-time, possibly 3-time league MVP on our team, and we have one of the most dominant rushers over the last decade in the NFL, and show our dominance. But we don't do that. We try to get cute, and I don't like it. And that falls on the head coach.
Understood. Absolutely. And since you started with the defense, let's go there. I'm going to ask you, Hendo, and everyone in the chat, please weigh in on this.
Question.
In terms of your defensive player of the game.
Question. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Question. Is this taking the place of the post-game stream?
I mean,
I'm asking this question. Is it?
Well, I mean, since we were already here, everybody's here. It's no need to shut this one down and make another stream and do it. This is the post-game stream. So if you are just now tuning in, this one will serve as the post-game stream.
Yes,
so
let's
we'll
go.
So we will just do this post-game stream for the next hour and a half.
Oh,
just teasing. No, but so if you are watching on the replay, what we'll do is we'll leave some chapters in here. If you just want to skip ahead and hear our post-game reaction, post-game thoughts, we'll do that. So this is kind of 2 in 1.
I know you did. What's going on?
Hendo, who was your defensive, since you started with defense, who is your defensive player of this game and why? And let us know in the chat. And if you're watching this on replay as well, please leave a comment and let us know your defensive player of the game.
Malik Harrison, hands down. He was all over the field. Pass defense, run defense, setting the edge. He did everything. He was responsible for Owe getting the first sack of the game. I know you don't want to hear it, but it is true. Like, he hit him behind the line of scrimmage and held on him for like 3 seconds. Owe came and cleaned it up. I'm not taking anything away from Owe, but Malik Harrison did everything he needed to do. We figured with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, with Roquan Smith being out, that the run defense was going to be an issue. Now, early on in the first quarter, it was, but then Malik decided, you know what, I'm going to impose my will. I'm going to show you guys why I was a 3rd-round pick, and they considered me to be the tag team partner to Patrick Queen and finally show out. I think this is the best game of his NFL career. Hey, can he keep it up and keep it going? So, yeah, for me, it's got to be Malik Harrison.
Absolutely. Malik Harrison, without question, and it's not even close. He had 13 total tackles, 7 were solo, and 1 tackle for loss. And next to him, the next person in line in terms of tackles is Nate Wiggins, surprisingly, with 6. So Malik Harrison led our team. And I think I saw Damon Watkins said he made Roquan Smith proud today. He sure did, because that was a huge loss for us. If we think about what Roquan Smith has done for this team in terms of being able to help stop the run, in terms of being able to tackle and protect the middle of the field. I know it's not the Roquan that we saw last year. I get that. I understand. But without him, I was very concerned.
But
I was very concerned.
Malik showed us why Chick-fil-A's closed on Sundays.
Hendo.
What's up?
Yes. So shout out to Malik Harrison. Job well done. He was all over the field today, causing havoc, making plays. It was good to see him out there, just kind of like silencing the naysayers, all the critics. And they're, he knows what's been said about him. And right. I agree with you, Hendo. I think this is probably the best game of his career. So hopefully that's a good sign in the event, with a hamstring injury that Roquan has, something to consider in terms of how long a recovery time. Will he be ready next week? I hope he will. I hope so. We certainly need him. But it was
hamstrings are tricky.
They're tricky. They're very tricky. So you can't say, no one at this point can say definitively he will or will not play next week. We don't know. This will be a wait and see. But in the meantime, for today against this Greg Roman offense, Malik Harrison did an amazing job. And I'm very pleased with him, very happy and proud of him for that. We needed it. Without him, This could have been a long night.
Shout
Uh,
out, shout out Agnes. She's laughing. She's laughing at Daffy Owe. Shout out Agnes.
no, she's not. She is not. Odafe Owe finished the game today with one tackle and one sack and one tackle for loss. We appreciate you,
Hey,
Odafe Owe.
hey, Lana, that was all on the same play. That sack and tackle for loss. That was the whole. That was all
I
on
didn't
one
say
play.
it wasn't. I just read his stats. Okay, leave well enough alone. You don't know when to let go. You don't know when to leave well enough alone. I see.
That's right.
Uh,
The pigeons. The pigeons.
Another one who had a sack was Kyle Van Noy. That was good to see because especially he's been relatively quiet since maybe the second or third week of the season. Brandon Stevens had a sack, and Josh Tuapu, whatever, he also had a sack. So those are our 4 sacks that we were able to get this game. Very good.
Agnes said, yes, Hendo. I was laughing at Roquan. I was laughing at Owe. She said, yes, Hendo.
No, she's saying he played great, Yolanda. Do you see that one right there? Yes, he did. He did.
I have my glasses. I can't see.
Well, that's okay. I just read it for you. One disappointment. Name a disappointment on defense. And I know the obvious. We all want to go with Brandon Stevens. Leave it if you're watching this right now, or if you're watching on replay. Tell us one name. Name one player on defense that was a disappointment to you this game. Hendo?
It's a tough one. They didn't play a bad game. Just by process of elimination, Nate Wiggins. And like I explained to you before, you can't praise him for when he makes plays and then say, oh, he's just a rookie when he does not. For him to have 4.8 speed, he's constantly getting beat. And a lot of the plays were bad throws by Justin Herbert, where he was beat solidly, and better throws would have ended up in touchdowns. So for me, I'm gonna have to say Nate Wiggins. Like, he had 6 tackles for a reason, and it wasn't in run support. It was because dudes were catching balls and he was making a tackle. But he didn't play bad. I don't think the defense as a whole, I don't think anybody played bad, to be honest with you. But if I had to pick one, that would be the one that I picked.
I'm going to go with Nnamdi Madubuike. That was good. That would be my disappointment.
Who?
Nnamdi Madubuike.
He played with the Ravens?
He does, and he played tonight, and he recorded 1 total tackle. That's it. And with your comments about Nate Wiggins, yes, absolutely. Everything you said is true. However, I look at the money that Nnamdi Madubuike just received this offseason. And I look at what he contributed today or tonight.
Right.
And they don't line up. They don't match. So for me, I'm going to go with Nnamdi Madubuike not being nearly as disruptive, not being nearly as effective, not wreaking nearly as much havoc as he did last year before he got paid to where he is now.
Right.
And we barely see or hear from him during games. So tonight, for me, it's Nnamdi. It's Nnamdi Madubuike.
The only reason I didn't say Madubuike was, to be quite honest with you, and this is no disrespect towards him, I don't expect anything from him. I, unfortunately, had PTSD. I remember when the same thing happened when the Ravens went to the offseason and they were like, hey, should we re-sign Brandon Williams? And they were like, oh, man, I've heard there's rumors that Brandon Williams might get $50 million. And in my mind, I'm like, thank you, Lord. He's finally gone. And somehow the Ravens turned around and said, oh, we'll give you $55 million. And they re-signed him, and he was nothing after that. To be honest with you, he really did nothing for the Ravens. I'm not saying that Madubuike is not going to be nothing, but just for what he did during a contract year, I don't expect him to replicate that. I expect that he's going to be a solid player for the Ravens for the duration of his contract. I don't think that he's going to be anything special, because before last year, he wasn't anything special. So I don't expect much from him. So he didn't disappoint me, because I know he's going to have flash games where he's going to have 2.5 sacks, and then he's going to disappear for 5 more. So because I don't expect anything from him, he's not disappointing me. I just expect more out of Nate Wiggins because he's a first-round pick. He's what we took instead of an offensive lineman, so I expect more out of him. That's why I say the things that I say.
Understood. Another runner-up I'll put on here is Chris Board. I just really didn't know what to expect, not in terms of I'm going to give him stock neutral. I'll give him stock neutral instead of stock
Ooh,
up, stock down.
Chris Bull was hitting.
Well, okay. He has 4 total tackles,
Okay.
2 solo.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
He was still out there. His presence out there, like he was all over the field.
Yeah. Okay.
He did more than Roquan normally does. And just because Roquan gets some jump on the
I'm not
pile,
going to
extra
say that.
tackles, he gets them Ray Lewis tackles like, touched him. Give me
Chris
that.
Board, okay, I'll give him. For me, I'm looking at his stats. He's in between because I remember saying, "Who is that? Who's number 49?" You're like Chris Board. So I'll give him in between stock up and stock neutral. He's somewhere right in the middle. He's not stock up, but he's not really on stock neutral. So he's somewhere for me right in the middle.
How about for a guy that wasn't even playing defense to have a starting role on defense and actually have an impact? I don't think that's neutral. I think that's stock up.
Okay. I can, touche. I can take that. No one else really stood out to me. Let me know in the chat, Hendo, any other defensive player that kind of stood out to you, whether good or bad.
Marlon Humphrey.
Okay. Good or bad. And why?
Good. Like his passes defended.
Yeah.
Like he may not be the all-pro model that he used to be, but he is our most solid and our most consistent corner that we had. There were a lot of plays where the wide receivers could have caught the ball and he knocked the ball out of their hands. He didn't just stand next to him and be like, "All me." No, he actually literally made plays. So, I mean, I think we take Marlon for granted because of the things that he does off the field and his social media presence. I think we do take him for granted. So, shout out to Marlon, the only guy that can actually get his hands on the ball. Pause.
Absolutely. Marlon Humphrey, I've really been impressed with him this year. He's been very, like you said, he's been consistent. He is out there making plays. He's doing what we ask him to do. He did not have any turnovers this game. I don't think anybody did. I don't think we had any interceptions. That's right. None.
I'm gonna call Tre'Davious White scoot.
Why?
Because the way he was scooting down the field when he was trying to run, his little legs are scooting. I'm gonna call him Scoot.
Don't call it man that. But definitely shout out to Marlon. Kyle Hamilton. What do you think about him tonight?
He took the responsibility of carrying the green dot, getting the play calls in. I mean, to be quite honest, I forgot he was playing. He didn't do bad.
That's why I say for me, he's.
But I'm not going to give him stock.
I'm not going to give him stock neutral because he did take over the green dot. He assumed a role that he normally doesn't have independent. So he's in between stock up, stock neutral. He's somewhere right around the middle of that, between that, if I had to say that for him. But yeah, on defense, overall, now that the game has concluded, what final grade, A, B, C, D, or F, do you give our defense for the way they played tonight?
I am a C+.
Yeah.
C+. I mean, they didn't play bad. They honestly, the one thing I would say I was disappointed with the defense is they let that rookie get funky on them. Like Ladd was doing the damn thing. Like Ladd was beating each and every one of our cornerbacks.
Yes.
The rookie beat each and every one of our cornerbacks with ease.
Yeah, he's going to be something. He's already something in his rookie season, but that was one that I mentioned.
Sorry. I got one more defender that I want to shout out. And I know I said that Malik Harrison was the best defender on tonight. I take that back. Malik is 1A and 1B. Malik is 1A and 1B is Quentin Johnston. He was the second best Ravens defender on the night. As many passes as he dropped in the second half alone. Like his coverage on himself was impeccable. Like one hand was trying to catch the ball, his other hand was slapping the ball out of his hands. How you do that? I don't know.
He is at the bottom. Quentin Johnson was at the bottom of the LA receiving. He had 0 receptions, 0 yards, 5 targets.
He dropped all 5 of them.
All
Darius was
5.
beat on one of them plays. Like Darius was trailing in one of them plays. It was a bad throw. Like Joshua Palmer, I told you, like he can give teams fits. Like theoretically, he should have had 3 touchdowns tonight. But
yeah, but
Justin Herbert being Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I will say about the defense, for as good as Lad McConkey is, we did contain him somewhat. He had 6 targets, 6 receptions, and we held him to 83 yards.
So a rookie versus a former number 1 defense with his quarterback off target caught all 6 passes, and we held him in check.
We held him somewhat in check, not all the way. He had 83 yards.
Defensive coordinator Greg Roman held him in check.
That too. However you want to say it, he could have gone for more than 83 yards. He could have. I should look up and see how many yards he had last game. The game before
0. But luckily, defense did what it needed to do. That's all that. The only thing that matters is we got that win.
We got the win. We did.
All that matters.
And prayers up to J.K. Dobbins. Hope he's okay. Yes, you're right. Hope he's okay.
If he has another season-ending injury, I don't know if I would be mentally strong enough to come back from that. Like year after year after year, just coming back and just rehabbing each and every season.
Yeah.
Like and I think we jinxed him because we were like, listen, he's close to his career high in yardage, and he can beat that tonight. And then he goes out and gets injured. Like, I feel for that dude.
Yeah. JK, and despite him leaving, he had 6 carries for 40 yards.
All in the first quarter.
All in quarter number 1. So there's that. Let's move on to the offense, the Ravens offense, right? Ravens offense. What were your thoughts? Let's break it down. First half. What were your thoughts about the offense? First half.
Same thing as last week. I thought we were trying to get a little too cute, trying to do things that we weren't accustomed to instead of just establishing our identity and just running the heck out the ball. Like, why is it such a surprise that we start these games nowadays where we're trying to throw, we're trying to do these trick plays, we're trying to get real cute? We have Lamar Jackson, who is the best running quarterback in history. Don't want to run it that much, but he is the best. Just the threat of him alone opens up windows for running backs. This is exactly why Gus Edwards averaged 5 yards a carry when he was with the Ravens. But we have Derrick Henry, who was the best running back over the last 10 years. So you have those two, but you want to get cute and try to do these little bubble screens and do all this other stuff. Once you saw that wasn't working, hey, let's get back to our bread and butter. I'm handing to you, or I'm going to fake it. Either way. And once we started doing that, that's when the Ravens kind of took control of this game. For us to wait so late in the game to do this, luckily we were playing the Chargers. Had this been a real contender, things may have gone a little bit different. So to me, I need John Harbaugh, I need Todd Monken to stop being cute with their play designs. Go with what works. And immediately after we said it, they ran Derrick Henry up the middle 2 times in a row. 25 yards. Set out for a play, did whatever they did, brought him back in, couple more plays, couple more first downs. Then we get a touchdown. This is not rocket science. It's football. You run the ball the best. So do what you do best and continue to do it. Now we have play action. They don't know what to look for. We fake it to Derrick Henry. It opens up the rest of the field. But for some reason, we can't get this through our skulls. Well, at least those two can. And realize this is the way that we win going forward. I thought when we were winning all those games, they said, you know what? This is how we do it. This is how we get her done. But then they said, John, I got an idea. How about we not do what wins us games and see if that happens and see if that will get us a win? And it didn't. And he was like, all right, I know it didn't work like that. Let's try one more again and see if it happens. And then I guess Lamar stepped into somebody and said, you know what? Enough is enough. Let's go back to being us.
Right. Yeah. Vance Way had a question. He wants to know, do we keep Orr next year or look for a defensive coach? I think there's a this question can be answered in two parts. Do I think they should keep Orr as a defensive coordinator? For me, my answer is probably not. Do I think they will keep him? I think so. I think the only way that Zach Orr is not our defensive coordinator next year is if John Harbaugh parts ways with the team, he retires, he moves on. I think we might have a different defensive coordinator if we have a new head coach. Otherwise, I think he's going to be our defensive coordinator next year.
Oh, he
What do
is.
you think?
John is very loyal to his people. Like
Right.
it takes a travesty or a mutiny for him to have to fire someone. Now, for me,
Yeah.
do we keep Orr? No, we don't. And that's not to say that he's doing a total bad job at calling these games, which in the beginning was a little suspect. He seems to be getting better. Or it's the competition. Don't know, don't really care. For me, it's why are we playing games with Lamar Jackson's career?
Yes.
Lamar this season has taken his game to new heights. He's shown us things that he hasn't shown us in the past, and he's wowed us for years. So you know that at any moment we ready to pop for that Super Bowl. Why are we continuing to play games with Lamar's career? Why are we bringing in experimental offensive linemen? Why are we bringing in experimental defensive coordinators? Bringing somebody that is proven. We don't know how many more prime years of Lamar that we have. So why do we keep experimenting with these pieces? Brian Flores was available. I mean, Rex Ryan, love him or hate him, he was available. There were some experienced guys that you could have brought in, but John and his nepotism and his fear that someone is going to take his job if the team does not perform well has hampered this team for too long. So you can look for him to come back next season, no matter how bad this defense finishes. Like, this game is going to help us a little bit in the standings when it comes to pass defense, but we're still in the bottom 5 of passing defenses in the league, and we don't have a clue as to how we're going to do it. Yeah. Luckily, we played a Greg Roman offense, and it's going to make the stats look a lot better than it was the week prior. But now we need to really see, and I think that the litmus test is going to be next week versus Philly, who has probably one of the top 1 or 2 offensive lines in the NFL, who have possibly one of the top 1 or 2 running backs in the NFL, who have possibly one of the top 5 wide receiving duos in the NFL. It's going to tell us a lot about this defense. It's going to tell us a lot about what Zach Orr is and how he has progressed as a defensive coordinator while learning on the job. If he does not perform well, we need to start looking into bringing in some help that's not Dean Pease. That's not an 89-year-old Greg Madison. We need to start bringing in some young, fresh guys that can actually bring some perspective into him and tell him what he's doing wrong. Somebody to oversee these practices and say, look, bro, you might not want to run these coverages because they can easily be exposed. So to me, yes, he should be fired, but knowing John Harbaugh, he will not.
Yes. Well said, Hendo. And I see you joining. Thank you for joining, Justin. This was the 4th comeback win Ravens have tonight. 3 of 4 were primetime games. Yes, it's a good win, great win for us. We needed it. We needed to bounce back after that loss from the Steelers. But going back to the question I asked earlier, what did you see on offense that first half? And I think it summed it, who was it? Vance summed it up perfectly. Slow start. That's what I saw. I saw an offense the first half that just kept stalling on drives. Not to mention we had a couple of penalties, not as many as we've seen in previous weeks, but we still had a couple of offensive penalties that kind of stalled the drive, and we just couldn't get it going, couldn't get into a rhythm, couldn't get, it was difficult for the offense to fire on all cylinders. We didn't see that until later, going into the second quarter and definitely into the second half, where we finally picked it up. That's when we started to see like Hendo, like you said, we stuck with what worked for us. We ran the ball. We left Derrick Henry on the field. We continued to drive the ball down the field. And yes, we had a few of the pass catchers making some plays, but this tonight was a game of the running backs. This tonight was a game of do what works. And that's what we did. So it was really good to see, because I saw Lamar just early on looking frustrated, and rightfully so. It's not how you want to start the game. That opening drive from the Chargers, they moved the ball down the field, marched right down the field on us, and we just had no answer. And I said, oh boy, it's going to make for a very long night. But We were able to turn it around second half. So that was glorious to see. On offense, let me ask you this for those who are in the chat, and if you are watching on replay, let us know. I'll ask you, Hendo, who was your offensive player of the game?
Easy answer would be Derrick Henry. That would be the easy answer. Because once again, once we get that train rolling, it's hard to stop it. But I'm going to veer off the beaten path. And I'm going out into the marsh. And I'm going to say Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman. He showed a lot of heart today. He was getting open. Lamar was missing him. But on that touchdown, for once that I've seen, Rashad Bateman was contacted by a defender and still caught the ball. And I thought that was a big play in helping the Ravens maintain the lead. So for me, of course, Derrick Henry for most people, which is justified. But I'm going to say Rashad Bateman because I do think that he needs to start getting his props for coming up big in certain moments. He may not be as consistent as Zay Flowers is, but when we need him, he shows up for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, he does. I will have to go with Derrick Henry, and I think it's primarily because last week, it just wasn't it for him. Whether it was, his inability, whether it was the O-line, whether it was Todd Monken saying, no, we're not going to, but he was just ineffective last week. So this was a very big confidence boost, a bounce back for him, to me was absolutely needed because we need him so much. He is such a huge piece to this offense. I did not want his confidence, his self-assurance to wane in any way. So that's where I'm going to go with that. It was penalties last week. It was Killicam. And this week, we had a couple. We had a few, but not nearly as many as we had last week. It was an improvement in that area. So that was good to see. Who was your offensive player, I guess we could say, who disappointed you?
Lamar Jackson.
Why?
I expected him to have 5 touchdowns. It's Monday Night Football, baby. I expected him to give me a Jackson 5 on Monday night. Or at least 4.
Fair enough.
But once again, listen, somebody predicted that he was going to break the streak. He kept the streak alive. Lamar has 21 touchdowns, no interceptions on Monday Night Football. Now 10-6, I believe. No, he's now 7-2, I believe, on Monday nights. 20-5 in prime time, something like that. What is it? My notes say 20-5 in prime time.
20-5. Mm-hmm.
12 of his last 13 games in prime time. But can't be mad at him. I'm just disappointed because I want him to shine being the only game in town. But of course, if you really want to dig deep into things, the biggest disappointment is the same disappointment that's a disappointment for me each and every week. It's got to be Pat McCarry. I don't know why the Ravens went into this season, and I said this all off season. Please do not get fooled by this backup believing that he is a starter.
Yeah.
Please, because you say he is just Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Everything, the Swiss Army knife of the offensive line, that you can just slide him into any position and he's going to play well. Because in the past, when you put him in positions to start, he has not done well at all. And we're seeing penalty after penalty. He leads the league with 8 holding penalties, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he has the lead by at least 3 or 4, not to mention his illegal man down the field or whatever it is. His penalties are killing his team. His penalties are taking the back big chunk plays.
Yeah.
He's just not good. And unfortunately, the Ravens don't have an adequate substitute to put in. Ben Cleveland, is he adequate? We'll never know because he's going to be gone by the time he starts a game in the NFL. So
to answer your question, Vance, Lamar Jackson, he had 16 completions for 20 out of 22 attempts for 177 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked once. In terms of rushing yards, Lamar Jackson had 8 carries for 15 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown.
Okay, 3. But I needed 5 passing touchdowns.
What'd you say?
I needed 5 passing touchdowns so I can brag to my friends.
Okay.
But shout out. Ladies first.
Thank you, Jonathan Alston, for the donation, the $2 donation. Refs tried to sabotage us. I thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. I don't know if the refs tried to sabotage us because I've kind of become resolute in believing that calls are not going to go our way. And I'm comfortable with understanding that because we know that calls are generally not going to go our way, we have to play that much smarter.
Right.
And we have to out ref the refs, so to speak. And I realized that early on, maybe in, I don't know if as early as the preseason, but certainly by that first game against the Kansas City Chiefs, where a lot of calls were not going our way, I realized, I said, okay, you know what? This is a team that's going to need to focus in on playing better each game and being even wiser so that the refs don't even have a chance to kind of, call bad, penalties on us or et cetera. But we do a fine job on ourselves by ourselves collecting
100%.
penalties.
100%.
We do. We don't necessarily need the refs helping us in that regard. But thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. What do you think, Hendo?
About what?
About the refs tried to sabotage us.
You know how I feel about refs. You know how listen, and I even pointed it out during the game. There are times, and there are many times, and I hate to pick on this young man, but there are many times when Nate Wiggins is holding, they don't call it.
Yeah.
That penalty on Brandon Stevens, that was a penalty. He grabbed him and held his arm down, but they took the flag and put it away. We always love to talk about when we get cheated, but we never want to talk about when calls go our way. Plus, like I said earlier, we go into games knowing that the refs are going to screw us. We just know it. We get called more penalties get called on this team than anybody else in the NFL. We know this. So how about you execute better? How about that? How about you execute a little bit better? Knowing that the refs are out to get you. Don't push it. Don't continue to push a dude while he's out of bounds. Don't hold on to guys. Like, have better technique. Then we don't have to worry about these things. Or you know what? Even if they do them, just play better. And they're not going to affect the game. But we don't worry about that. We worry too much about the refs than we do our own execution and our own self-discipline. So me personally, when we lose a game, I don't care what the refs did. I don't care if the refs are for the Chiefs. I don't care if the refs are for whomever. If we play the game that we're capable of playing, the refs are null and void and they're a non-factor. And we're going to win regardless. So I don't like using refs.
Yeah. Vance Way wanted to know Henry's yards. Henry, he had 24 carries, 140 yards, no touchdowns.
For the first time.
For the first time. Yes. So that was, he is our leading rusher for this game with 140 yards, but he did not have any touchdowns.
He better be a leading rusher every game. Those days of Lamar leading this team are all done.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as we keep him on the field, he is our leading rusher. It's just a matter of us actually doing it, keeping him on the field. And I wanted to ask, and
I'm going to talk cash money-ish.
That's gonna be, that's gonna be, make sure that you stay tuned because
bring them frauds to Baltimore.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. But yes, Damon, we've come a long way since week 1. We still have a ways to go. Our D-line was held so much, it was ridiculous. Michael Robinson, you're absolutely right. They kept holding my guy, Odafe Owe, and it was just awful to see.
That's exactly why I didn't put the comment up, because I know you were going to take it to Owe.
Yes, they were. Agnes called it early on, and you wanted to kind of skirt around.
No, Agnes was talking about the play where the dude sat Owe down like he put him in a high chair. That's what Agnes was talking to me about. He was like, "Come on, little Owe." Owe was like, "I don't want it to that."
Terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible.
That's what happened. I saw it.
But
these are the things I don't understand.
Yeah.
How? Even okay, let's say Nick Chubb came back healthy. He was 85% the Nick Chubb of old. Deshaun Watson was playing relatively well. What made you think that Denver-Cleveland was going to be a great Monday night football game? What made you say before the season started, I'm going to put Denver and Cleveland in prime time, and that's going to make good football? But the Eagles and Ravens, you knew the Ravens were going to be a good team. You knew the Eagles, especially after they signed Saquon Barkley, you knew they were going to be a good team. Yeah. But you don't put that in prime time?
Make it make sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. A couple more topics and we are going to get out of here. Special teams. Special teams. Nightmare Kilo. I
Oh
still
my
want
God.
to. Yeah. When you see Brandon Stevens play corner.
But I feel you because my thing is, why are you dancing? You didn't make the play. Quarterback overthrew the dude. You dancing like you did something. Like when you actually make a play or get an interception, cool. Marlo should be dancing. Marlo should be shimmying. You should be watching film. As soon as you make a play and get off the field, you should be going back and watching film and doing neck exercises, learning how to turn your head. Do some of them.
Yes, we're going to get out of here pretty soon.
Denver's going to win. It's just not going to be a good game.
Yeah, I don't think it will be a good game either.
Jameis Winston? I mean, I know it's Florida State, but
yeah,
who got it better than us?
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Lions, Eagles.
Yeah, those are the ones who have better records right now. Special teams.
They ain't special.
I'm glad Justin Tucker. Let me see.
Facts. You listen. You make a shimmy worthy play, you shimmy. He's a peacock. You gotta let him fly.
Oh, stop it. Justin Tucker, 1 for 1 for field goals and 3 for 3 for the extra points.
Nice.
So he is 100% today.
Okay.
100%. Whereas last week, we're not even going to revisit. So that is an improvement. He is stock up for me. Let's hope it continues to trend in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Tucker is back. KP says so far. That's right. We have to see because next week against the Eagles is going to be, we need every point we can get. There's no room. There's no margin for error next week. But happy to see that Justin Tucker was 100% tonight. That was very good. Last thing we'll talk about before we go. Coaches, Hendo.
What's up?
Tell me what you think.
Fire John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh versus Jim Harbaugh. What are your thoughts?
Fire John Harbaugh, bring in Jim Harbaugh.
No. Let me know in the chat. Let me ask the chat because they're going to be serious. What did you think about John versus Jim Harbaugh? What did you think? Who was the better coach tonight, John or Jim? And why?
Is this a trick question?
No.
I don't even think that Jim particularly coached a good game today. Like he had some clock management mishaps. I don't know if his father told him be like your older brother and do what he does so he doesn't look too bad on Monday night. No, what happened?
Hendo, stop it. Stop that.
I mean, I listen. For me, in all honesty, I don't think that the head coaches really had too much of an impact on this game. I think it was more of the coordinators. I think that it took Todd Monken a little bit to get his groove and find out what they should have done. And then I think Greg Roman was just Greg Roman. Like, if you're not playing a bottom feeder team, like you don't know what to do. When the defense starts mixing things up, you don't know what to do. When you can't run the ball, when J.K. Dobbins got hurt and you had to throw, you didn't know what to do. So I think it was more of a coordinator's game than it was a head coach.
Yeah, I was going to say I really don't have. To me, they're about equal in terms of they both made mistakes and one wasn't superior over the other. To me, they were about equal. But I agree, this came down more to the coordinators, and this is where I think Todd Monken was able to get in his bag, and he stayed there, which is run the ball, keep Derrick Henry on the field, use play action, and we got the win. So this is a very good team win. This is a very good win for the Ravens. We needed it. We could not stand to lose today.
Not at all.
Because, like next week, I usually, when I do my previews, this year I have not spoken against the Ravens in terms of where I think they will lose.
Okay.
This week I'm really close to saying this might be an L for us coming up.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. I need to do my homework. I need to do some research. I need to study a little bit.
They're not going 17-0. They weren't going 17-0. So, but my question is this: who's winning the next Pittsburgh Ravens game?
Okay. Ironically enough, when I saw the schedule, I said, I think we split with Pittsburgh. I think we take Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. We lose at home. That was what I thought. So no, I never said the Ravens were going 17-0. I thought we'd split.
No, I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying, because you're saying you're sorry for picking against the Ravens. Like nobody picked the Ravens to win all 17 games, so there's nothing to be sorry about. I mean, if you think the Philly's going to win this game, cool. I think the Philly's going to win this game, depending upon what team we bring out. Because right now, defensively, even with speaking about all the things that the Philly offense does, defensively. Now I know that they lost Brandon Graham, like he's out for the year, but defensively, they are one of the best, if not the best defense, if I'm not mistaken, in the league right now. And they have a bunch of young guys who can get it. Jalen Carter is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And big play Slade that John Harbaugh and the Ravens love so much, who they tried to trade for twice. Like he may be injured as well. So we may catch breaks defensively.
I think this game to me against the Philadelphia Eagles is going to come down to who we have available and who's healthy for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. We're going to need a Roquan Smith, although Malik Harrison did a great job today. This is a totally different defense that he'll be going up against next week in the I keep wanting to say the Steelers, but against the Eagles.
Just say them Pennsylvania teams,
right? So I think that we can beat the Eagles.
I mean, we can beat anybody.
Right. Will we? Well, again, I need to do some research. I need to look at some numbers. I need to look at some stats, that kind of thing, before I give a final true,
but we need
well thought out assessment.
We need nasty players. We need dudes with attitudes.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that. So
we got a dude that gives a rah-rah speech and then gets beat every time.
So yeah, it's our O-line, like Michael said, our O-line struggles against, big, fast D linemen, and it's going to be a tough task. It's going to be here before you know it. Here before you know it. Listen, I don't know about the rest of y'all. 2 more work days, holiday, football. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Vegan turkey day. Then it's on. So this week is going to go by pretty fast.
It is.
Are you live streaming that game, Yolanda?
We have been live streaming today for over 4 hours, and we thank you so much for being here.
It's Ravens Eagles.
Then, Hendo, if you will join me for the live stream, you will see my face all up on your screen.
I will join you in the comment section.
Oh, then great. We'll both be in somebody's comment section.
You suck.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's right. Justin Herbert can't beat the Ravens. He's supposed to be the greatest young quarterback of all time. But yeah. Oh, this is what I want to see. And sometimes you need to be humbled in life. Everybody has that moment that heads get a little too big and they need to be humble. Brandon Stevens going up against AJ Brown, he's going to get humble. I guarantee you he ain't gonna be dancing this game.
Yeah, there's not gonna be any room for that. Exactly, Danity. That's it.
Wait a minute. Not my daddy. You my girl. I mean, it's holidays. Don't I get the holiday off?
No. We are content creators who report on these Baltimore Ravens, and when they play a game, we need to be here.
What was I doing 5 o'clock this morning? Creating content, releasing videos.
Okay. And listen, you've got to turn the page. That's over now. This is a new day. It's a brand new day.
Oh. So you
all right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We will see you all
Yolanda is streaming one of the Thanksgiving Day games.
I asked you.
Y'all pick which one y'all want her to do.
I asked you, and you said sure.
I didn't. Please don't lie to people. Don't lie to people.
You said maybe.
Listen, it's still 128 people in here. I do.
Wow.
It
Wow.
is. It is 12 a.m.
It
in
is
Baltimore.
12 a.m. That's right, Justin. Good morning. I am going to sign off now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're gonna be here. Okay. All right. We stream. We appreciate you coming by. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For those who donated to the channel, for those who liked, comment, subscribe, we appreciate you.
Yes.
It really helps the channel a ton. Make
right.
sure before you go, if you have not already,
declaration.
like the live stream.
I'm gonna make a declaration. All right. If I can make it to 5,500 subscribers, then we'll stream on Thursday and we'll stream the Ravens game on Sunday.
Okay.
Bam. You have until Wednesday, LBH tea time.
Okay. If we can get Hendo to what's the number? 55?
5,550.
So what I need you to do is grab a link to this video or to this live stream, or grab a link to Hendo's channel, share it on your socials, share this live stream, share one of Hendo's most recent videos, do something, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend.
Listen, I know y'all got kids with accounts.
There you go. Have everybody sign on and hit that subscribe button to get Hendo to the 5,500 mark so that we can go ahead and do the live streams, because we know you guys want to see it. You guys want to see Hendo live stream. So there, he has dropped. Let me see if I can pull the link really quickly to your channel.
Come on now.
No. That's going to make it easier. Let me grab the link really quickly.
What you said we was getting them out of here. Like I haven't eaten yet. Like I got off.
I know, but I want to do this. Let me grab a link really quickly to Hendo's channel.
I'm going to go watch the replay of the game so I can watch it in peace and see all the things that I missed.
Okay, so I don't know that I can grab a link while I'm.
Oh well.
What I'll do, Damon, what I'll do after this live stream, I will put a link to, you know, it should just be.
Okay, you're spending too much time. Let's just get out of here.
Anyway, I will put a link to Hendo's channel in the description box to this live stream as soon as it's over. But thank you all. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Have a happy Thanksgiving. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. However you choose to title it, whether you celebrate the day or not, just do something special, do something amazing for yourselves, with your family and your loved ones. And we will see you back very soon.
Always on it.
Thank you, Danity. Thank you. Danity is great. She is on it. That is the link to
if you
the
don't subscribe,
pod.
If you don't subscribe, cool.
No, you have to subscribe. Make sure you
go. They don't have to. First of all, they don't have to do anything.
I know, but what I'm saying, you didn't let me finish. You have to subscribe because we really want to see Hendo back in these live streaming streets on Thursday. That's why.
We'll do a half.
No, we're going to do the whole thing. We got to do the whole thing. We'll do like maybe the afternoon game. So it's not like midnight when we finish.
Maybe the Detroit game. That might be a more interesting game.
Yeah, the Detroit game.
Because, you know, okay. Dallas sucks. So I don't want to talk about them. But then the night game is Green Bay.
Ooh, that one's going to be a good one.
Oh, well, we'll find it. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
It depends on being at that mark.
Yeah. Okay. Family, we will see you very soon. Take care. You stay safe. Always remember, go Ravens. We did it. God bless you.
Appreciate y'all. And we out.